Praise the Lord. How are you? I believe you're well in the Lord, and the mercies of God unfold every morning in newness. We are so thankful to God for His grace, and we are thankful also for the manifestation of this grace. We are well in the Lord. Today, my brothers and sisters, I want to encourage you that the plans of God are not the plans of men. I want to encourage you not to get discouraged by the plans of men against your life. We had Balaam and Balak in Numbers chapter 23, who planned against the children of Israel, but God had already blessed them. They were planning a curse upon them, but God had already blessed them. And that which God has blessed cannot be cursed. So, don't be discouraged by the plan of men in your life. Don't be discouraged by the moves of men in your life. Stay focused to the plans of God upon your life. In Psalms 139, it tells us, before you got into the womb of your mother, God had already planned your life. And he repeated this again to Jeremiah the prophet. He told him, before I formed you in your mother's womb, I had already planned you. So God has planned you. Regardless of the plots of evil, regardless of the plots of men, God has already planned you. Even before your mother met you, God had already known you, planned you, designed you, all for His glory. So don't be moved by what men's intentions are upon your life. In Genesis chapter 50 and verse 20, it tells us, Joseph told his brothers, you intended it for evil, but God intended it for good. This is what you are going to say at long last, because he who loves the last loves the best. His brothers, they planned evil upon him. Joseph, the son of Israel, had a lot in his life. God had revealed a vision about his future. He had not offered the synopsis of the future. He did not give him the details of the journey, how he is going to attain this future. Because if God had revealed to him the details of this journey, rest assured, Joseph could have given up before starting it. There are things that God keeps hidden for your own good. Because if He reveals it, you'll be discouraged and disheartened, and you'll not make it. So it was for His own good that God did not show him being in the pit. God did not show him being in shackles, being sold to slavery. God did not show him the Potiphar's wife. God did not show him the prison. He did not show him all this because they could have discouraged you. And today I want to encourage you. Whatever situation that you are going through, you are not yet there. That is not the end of your story. It is part of your story to the destiny, to the promise of God. What you are going through. Maybe you are going through what Joseph went through, but you are not yet there. At the end, you will love. At the end, you are going to tell them they intended it for evil, but God intended it for good. In Romans chapter 8 and verse 28, it tells us all things work together for good to those who love the Lord. All things. It doesn't matter, maybe good things, bad things, they all work together for good. Looking at Joseph's life, being sold as a slave, being in prison, all this was for good. It was part of the path to trend on in order to reach what God had shown him in the vision. He could not have met Pharaoh in other way. That was the path to meet Pharaoh. That was the path to get the prime ministry of Egypt. That was the path that God intended him to train on. I don't know your path. I don't know which path. I don't know where you have reached in this journey. But I'm encouraging you not to get discouraged. It is not the end of the story. You are not yet there. Stay focused. Stay faithful to God. Stay in trust to God. Joseph, when he was tempted by Potiphar's wife, he told him that he fears God. So, regardless of all that he went through, the experiences and the events, Joseph still remained faithful to God. And you remain faithful to God. In the midst of all these temptations, all these pandemics, all these diseases, all these floods, pestilence, remain faithful to God. Where you have reached is not the end of your story. It is not the end of the journey. Maybe you're sick, but I can tell you, the end of your sickness, it will not be what people are intending it. It will be to the glory of God. I don't know your condition, but you who love the Lord, you who trust the Lord, you who has faith in God, you are not yet there. At the end, you will have the best. And you will have a testimony to people of how good God is, how faithful He is, and how mighty He is. Stay focused. Even Jesus, when the Pharisees wanted to crucify Him, they laughed when they saw Jesus naked being whipped. They laughed when they saw Jesus on the cross being nailed. But at the end of it all, it was God's intention for our salvation, remission of sin, and for destruction of the works of the devil. He had to go through all that to the glory of God. So, what people plot against you, don't mistake it for the plan of God. In Isaiah 55, from verse 8 to 10, it says, "As high as the heavens are above the earth, so are the ways of God, so are the thoughts of God. The thoughts of God are not the thoughts of men. The ways of God are not the ways of men." Be blessed, stay encouraged, and shalom.